What's up, YouTube dweebs? Welcome to the Nonverbal Honors channel, where today we will be talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I've got all the albums right here, and we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned tier list. Now, if you're not familiar with the channel, well, that doesn't surprise me. I don't even know what I'm doing on this channel. I got a bunch of random videos about cars and Pokemon card opening training videos and other crap like talking about bands that nobody cares about. But my main passion in life is music. And I want to talk about the bands that inspire me, which is why I want to do this tier list. I'm not just getting on the tier list wagon to just, ride the hype. I legitimately want to give my honest opinion on all these albums. Now, I know a lot of you have very short attention spans. Well, that's too dang bad because I can't promise that I'm going to be able to keep this short. But I will do my best to explain the passion and blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into me listening to these songs throughout my lifetime. A lot of you may not really like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's okay. A lot of people just think they're a band that sings about nonsense and ring-a-ding-dong, ding-ding-dong, California, and surf, drugs, and sex, and that's all that we like to do. Well, you wouldn't be wrong. But in my defense, there are plenty other bands that all they do is sing about California and nonsense. Exhibit A, the Eagles. Hotel California. Cello. Best Coast literally named their band after the West Coast, and their first album cover is a bear hugging California. That entire band, all they sing about is California. So if you want to listen to a band where they beat that horse to death, that is your band. Still a good band, I like them. Blink-182 named a whole album after California. Beach Boys and Katy Perry literally sing about California girls. Frank Ocean named himself after the body of water that resides directly adjacent to the state of California. Gunther and the Sunshine Girls. California is literally the Sunshine State indefinitely, and there's no other state that could even be called the Sunshine State. Not even close. It's California. Duh. Polyphia. They named a song 87, which is the average age of the California resident. So, anyway, that debacles that whole sham of an argument of why the Red Hot Chili Peppers suck. So if you don't like it, you can shove it. Okay, before we start this, I have to add a row below, and we will make it purple, and that's not what I wanted. Okay, anyway, onward. We will name this the WTF roll, and let's go ahead and make this, we'll make this pink. That looks good. Oh yeah, perfect. So these two albums definitely go in the WTF, and I don't think I need to explain much. If you disagree with me, go listen to these albums, and I think we'll all be on the same page. If anybody says nay, then you live in another planet. This album, Uplift Mofo Party Plan, I think is at least listenable if you force yourself to like all the songs. Now, these three albums are before Chad Smith and John Frusciante got into the band, so before they actually started writing songs. To me, these were like their practice albums, pretty much, to get all their druggy, sex addict wiggles out. Not that they got them completely out, but I think they got a lot of them out. Basically, these albums are stuck in a time warp in the 80s of excessive reverb and, ridiculous funk guitar and nonsensical rap versus... I mean, dude, I respect it. I know it sounds like I'm harshing on them. I respect it. It's just, again, you listen to these, you'll understand why they're there. Now, this is where they finally start becoming a band, writing songs that people want to listen to, kind of. Chad Smith and John Frusciante enter the mix here. And, I feel like this is an album where they actually start refining their writing style, kind of poking more into the mainstream instead of being an underground band. Songs like Good Time Boys, Taste the Pain, Knock Me Down are actually really good songs that I enjoy. Again, like the sound definitely still sounds in like very early 90s, late 80s, so it's kind of hard to digest in these days. Hey man, I'm a young lad. It's hard for me to get jiggy with the old stuff, but I mean, and you got Higher Ground, which is a great cover of a Stevie Wonder song that I don't think anybody knows the original song. They just know this version of it by the Chili Willies. And if it's not a Stevie Wonder cover, correct me, because for some reason I'm doubting myself on that. But anyway, this album, they actually decided to write real music, and it showed off. It paid off. S tier, hands down. It's actually legitimately an amazing album that I love. The drums on this album are incredible. Chad Smith has like a little demo tape, not a demo tape, but like a little drum instructional video from this era where it's the only time I have ever seen him not wear a hat, and he has a mullet. My Lovely Man is probably my favorite song on the album. I think it's got incredible drums on there with the little drum breaks and everything. I think good bass line, guitar, etc. And Funky Monks, also one of my favorite songs. The bass line on that song goes really hard, especially if you got a good subwoofer in your car. Dude, it slaps. It slaps dirty. Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the title song. The drums sound really cool in that. The beginning, opening drums. Dude, get a good pair of headphones. If you want to test out drum sounds, that is the song. Obviously, we got Suck My Kiss, Give It Away. Dude, every song in this album is solid, in my opinion. Under the Bridge, their first main ballad. I mean, yeah, dude, it's just dope. This really is the album, I feel, where they actually put a lot of legitimate time into it, and kind of said, you know what, drugs are cool, but let's actually write some music in this mansion that we rented out, and let's actually make something happen. So, yeah. One Hot Minute, of course, once they got their stride, they had to take a huge step back, and Johnny Boy quit. Dave Navarro steps in, the weirdo from Jane's Addiction, which I like Jane's Addiction, but let's be real, Dave Navarro is kind of a weirdo. I mean, he's got nipple piercings, which, dude, I don't know, man. That's, I guess it's cool. But One Hot Minute, dude, my problem with this album is that it's got some really cool ideas for songs. Really cool ideas. Like Transcending, one of the coolest bass lines, I think, of any Chili Peppers song, where the first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, dude, I've never heard anything like this. Like, how do you get these sounds out of just two instruments? And it gets you in this really nice trance, relaxed vibe. Like, dude, I'm digging this. And then at the end, it just slaps you in the face and says, screw you, man. We're just messing this song up. We're gonna go a whole different direction, and we're just gonna I'm gonna start moaning on the lyrics and go, yeah, and then the screaming on the guitar. And dude, it actually legitimately pisses me off how in Transcending they just totally make that jarring shift at the end, and it's like, to me, it's unlistenable because you spent the whole song really vibing with it, and then it's like just slaps you in the balls. And like, I wasn't really expecting a ball slap right here, and I'm not going to take it. Other songs like My Friends, I think, is one of the most underrated songs of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think it's one of their best. Unfortunately, they're not going to play because John Frusciante, I only play songs at ABBA because I'm the only one who writes good songs. Which, is fair, but dude, My Friends is an amazing ballad as well. Aeroplane, really good single. Walkabout is a really good song. If you're literally going on a walk, it's kind of a cool, groovy song. Falling Into Grace, Shall It Be That Game are also good songs, but other songs like One Big Mob just suffer from that same kind of writing structure where it's like, let's get a vibe going, and then we do a complete 180 and you get bored, or you're like, what the heck is going on, and you tune out. RHCP. It's a funny song, I guess. I don't know. Like, I maybe don't have fleecing on songs. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, that's this album. Luckily, John comes back. He's like, okay, I'll slap these guys back into shape because I realized that they suck without me. And dude, they write Californication's probably their most iconic album ever. It's not my personal favorite, but it definitely deserves the supreme tier. Dude, Around the World was my favorite song for a really long time growing up. Other Side, it just hits you deep. Porcelain, I love songs about toilet seats. I mean, that's where you spend most of your time during the day, is just on that sweet cold porcelain, warming it up. And I'm just glad they wrote a song about it. I like Dirt. I actually do like Dirt, which is why I relate to this song. But yeah, like, there really are great songs. I think the musicianship matured a lot to where they're stepping away from kind of the whole obnoxious, we're this crazy, like, energetic band, and we were socks on our dillies and the whole shock factor kind of thing. And they actually, like, tightened down some really good tunes. Purple Stain, Road Trippin', Savior is a song about Anthony's dad, about how he didn't have a great relationship with his dad, but he forgives him in the end, which, is not a song that stands out to you, but once you kind of understand the background, it kind of hits you and you're like, dang, that's actually a cool song. Honestly, every song on here is great. Scar Tissue, I think, won the award in some magazine for, like, the best guitar solo. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's the best guitar solo, but, like, dude, it's dope. It's itching for sure. I can't swear because my mom's listening, but it is itching. Fat Dance is a funny song. Quixotic Elixir is a bonus track that kind of suffers from the same thing as Transcending, but not as hard. I mean, it gets you in a good vibe. The ending is a little obnoxious, but it's kind of bearable, and you do understand it. So my biggest gripe with this album is the production quality sucks. It's highly compressed. It's all high range. There's, like, no lows. There's no mids. And I read an article or watched a video explaining why the sound quality is not great. And I think Rick Rubin produced this album, which is shocking. Fact check me on that. Please let me know if I'm wrong, because I'm too lazy to research that again. But I think Rick Rubin produced it, and he and John Frusciante were, like, high on goofballs or crack. Like, literally, I think high on cocaine. And that messes with your auditory senses to where you enjoy listening to the higher frequencies more. I don't know. I'm not a drug addict, so any drug addicts in the comments, please let me know if that's true. But I mean, they favored the higher frequencies because of the state of mind they're in. So they produced the record that way, and it came out like poopy. And I think that's another reason why this should be an S tier, which sounds crazy, but it's like, that just proves how great the songwriting was on this album. That if you talk to anybody who enjoys this album or songs on it, most likely Scar Tissue and Other Side, they're not going to say anything about the poor sound quality. Unless you mention it to them, like, dude, have you noticed that the quality is not that great? They'd be like, oh yeah, dude, I like never thought of it that way, but like now that you mention it, that like totally makes sense. I just think it proves you can have a pretty poor mix, but if you have great songwriting, that's what people care about, which I find inspirational. So if you're an up-and-coming musician and you're so worried about everything being perfect, then it's kind of like, you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe if people just like the songwriting, they will appreciate kind of the atmosphere of the album. It's not an excuse to have a poor mix, but I think it kind of attests to really people enjoy good music regardless. I do wish it was produced better, don't get me wrong, but I just think that's kind of an interesting tidbit. Next album, Dog. Obviously, this is going in the supreme, totally awesome tier. Dude, by the way, I don't think I need to talk about this album too much, because if you've listened to it, you just know it's a solid album. Even if you don't like it, you're like, yeah, dude, I hate the Chili Peppers, but I like this album. By the way, you got the classic Chad Smith, Tom Groove. Wait, no, is that By the Way? Oh my gosh, I can't think of how that song sounds right now. Throw Away Your Television definitely has that classic Tom Groove in there. But yeah, I mean, just the guitar ideas on this song and the musicality, and again, the songwriting is very interesting and is more unique on this album. And I think they kind of took some chances on some songs and it really paid off. For example, the song Cabron. It's a completely different style than they usually do. It's a more kind of, Latin American, like mariachi kind of vibe with the acoustic guitar and everything. And then the rhythm section. I mean, okay, I don't know the term. I think it's like a samba. It's probably not samba, but it's like that kind of like a reggaeton almost. Anyway, those terms I'm probably not getting right, but it's got that attitude, and it is a bop. I show that song to people, and it's not a song that a lot of people know, even if they're Chili Peppers fans, but like I show that song to people, like, dude, this is a vibe, yo. Like, it's summertime. I want to crack a beer, and like I just want to chill on my porch and talk to my homies, cause hey, cabron, hey, it's all good, man. So yeah, I really I love that song. It's such a cool deviation from their normal stuff, and it works. Same thing with Warm Tape. The song, it starts off kind of in a euphoric, ethereal kind of vibe, and the chorus kind of comes in and gets a little more rockin' and kind of ties the whole thing together. Dude, Midnight's a really cool song. It actually sounds like it came out of a graveyard, with the beginning, it's like Dracula was on backing vocals. Yeah, dude, I remember listening to that song at midnight when I come home from hanging out with friends in high school, and it's like a cool feeling. Minor Thing's a really cool upbeat bop. Bicycle Song, it's a bonus track, but it's one of my favorite songs on that album. It's like just a really good, upbeat, chill vibe. Venice Queen, I think, is where they take what they're trying to do in One Hot Minute, where they have a song and then they completely change the attitude of the song halfway through. They totally botched it in this album, but dude, here with Venice Queen, it works. So Venice Queen starts off really, again, kind of trancey. I know I keep saying that a lot, but it really kind of builds up slowly. It's a little melancholy, mysterious kind of vibe, and the drums kind of, keep it at a good pace. Halfway through the song, boom, completely changes attitude. The acoustic guitar comes in. That's another thing. They use a lot more. John uses a lot more acoustic guitar in here, which I don't think he does in any other album. Actually, no, that's a lie. I could have lied from Blood Sugar Sex Magic. He does. So that's a lie. Ignore that. But it feels like he uses more acoustic guitar in this album as a focal point. And in Venice Queen, halfway through the song, it comes in with the upbeat, really bright acoustic guitar, and then the drums come in, and it's not obnoxious and jarring like it is on Quixotic Elixir or Transcending in these two albums, but the guitar comes in, it's like, hey, we're in a different pace, the song is evolving, and then it fades back into the mix, all the instruments come in, and the vocals stay chill and calm and, melodic, and it is such a cool change of pace in the song that actually really works, and you look forward to it in the song. So yeah, I love that song. And then Can't Stop, dude, greatest song of all time. Don't At Me. They played that song live. I saw them in Las Vegas in 23. They played Can't Stop as their opener. Dude, when the guitar drops, oh my gosh, that was like the most energy I'd ever felt in a stadium ever. And I've seen a lot of concerts, but that was like the moment I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally fanboying right now. So yeah, dude, Can't Stop is dope. Zephyr Song is a cool bop. And yeah, onward. Okay, for this next album, we gotta add a row above. And do that. And we'll make this the soup edition. Nope, not equals. Soup plus tier. And we will make it green. So S plus did this has to go to S plus. This is the album that has inspired me the most personally with my own music taste, even playing instruments and learning the guitar and the drums. This album has had one of the biggest impacts on my life out of any album. Every song on here is a masterpiece. And I feel like it's, again, like the whole band is just really syncing up well on their songwriting. And, they have your classic hits like Danny, California, which I know people say they ripped off a Tom Petty song, but who cares? It's a different song. It sounds good. It's freaking dope. You tell me you try to write a song that doesn't sound like anything else. Danny, California, Snow. I love this song, but there's a point where it's like, man, dude, the ending just drags on too long and it gets boring. And then they played it live and it's like a whole different song, way more energetic, and it's like, dude, I love this song all over again. Charlie's one of my favorite songs. Stadium Arcadium's got a really cool drum groove to it, and the chords are really simple. And songs like Warlocks, just really kind of, little more unique, a little different kind of vibe, but it's very funky, and you kind of want to, it makes you want to dance, and the chorus is a really cool chorus. Songs like Hey, I used to not like when I first heard it, because I was like, this is boring, man, this is a slow song. But it's one of my favorite guitar riffs or guitar chord progressions of any of their songs, because it's very groovy, it's very chill, it's almost hypnotic in a way. And yeah, the bass and the guitar complement each other really well. And the vocals, like, dude, people say Anthony writes nonsensical vocals. Dude, the vocals in that song hit hard, man. It's about a couple that is just not on the same wavelength of communication, and they're just trying to say, hey, I'm trying to talk to you, but I feel like I can't. I feel like I don't know you anymore. And it's relatable. Tell Me Baby, great song. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to talk about every song, but I feel like in this album, John on guitar specifically really puts a lot of effort into the sound and the songwriting, where he does a cool thing where he pans one lead guitar part to the right and then another all the way to the left. They're not matching each other. They're actually two completely different parts, and they're just panned differently, and you kind of got two different guitar parts playing off of each other. And I've always appreciated that he doesn't just play the same guitar part and just makes a stereo mix. It's two completely different parts, and it just makes it sound a whole lot more interesante. And you can watch some documentaries. They do a Stadium Arcadium documentary where they're just sitting on couches talking about the album. They talk about songs, so you learn some cool little tidbits, like Death of a Martian is about Flea's dog that died. Who would have thunk? I can't say enough about this album, and if I talked about this album like I really wanted to, we'd be here for another 2 hours, honestly. Like, this album, dude, it is the quintessential Red Hot Chili Peppers album, in my opinion. A lot of people might say Californication, but I disagree. Stadium or Arcadium is where it's at. This album, John goes on a pouty phase and says, I don't want to be famous anymore. And then Josh Klinghoffer comes in. But I think Josh Klinghoffer was the right addition for this next kind of era of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, background on Josh Klinghoffer, if you're unfamiliar, he's a guitarist that replaces John Frusciante. And he actually toured with the band during the Stadium Arcadium era, playing the auxiliary guitar. If you watch live concerts of Stadium Arcadium, he's kind of in the background playing all the different, secondary guitar parts that John wrote in the album. He also, Josh is, he's featured on songs in John Frusciante's solo career. So John's got some solo albums where he features Josh Klinghoffer on them. And this is way before Stadium Arcadium. This is like in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, where he's got Josh playing with him. And so they've known each other for a while, and they've written music together. So I think, is a really obvious choice for them to bring Josh in. And he's a lot younger than the brand band, but I think he brought some fresh ideas. They definitely wrote some good songs like Look Around, Monarchy of Roses, Adventures of Maggie Simpson. They are good songs. I don't find this to be an album that I can come back to very often, in the sense that I don't find it very memorable. I think it kind of came out and is like cool for the time, and then once they came out with more albums, it's kind of like, what is this album again? I forget it. I honestly forget it exists sometimes. Doesn't mean it's bad by any means, but it's just I don't find myself wanting to listen to it as much as I do these other bands or albums. But still, definitely worth checking out. I think it's way better than One Hot Minute, TBH. I don't know. Maybe it's not better. I think they're both good in their own right. This album is like, dude, it's not even a full album. It's just a bunch of EPs, like, bandaged together. Like, they came out with, like, 6 different EPs, and we're like, yeah, we're not going to make a full album, but here's a bunch of songs. They're good songs and stuff, but I wouldn't consider this a full album. So if you want to listen to it, just listen to it. We'll just put it there for now, even though it's worth listening to. Okay, The Getaway. So I do like this album a lot. I mean, there's not too much to go into it on here, but songs like Dark Necessities, great bass drop. Goodbye Angels, again, great bass drop in the middle of the song. Go Robot, I think, is a fun, funky jig to get down with. And then The Longest Wave kind of reminds me of Under the Bridge, where it's got a cool guitar intro that's a little more intricate, a little more melodic and everything, and then it chills out during the verse, and it allows the vocals to breathe more. So I think that was kind of, in my opinion, that's kind of Josh's homage to Under the Bridge. But yeah, this is a good album. I listened to this quite a bit, honestly. Now, getting the good stuff, bruh. I would put Unlimited Love in A tier. And I don't know the community census on their latest 2 albums, but if you're unfamiliar, this is a double LP. So is this album. They came out in, I think, 22 and 23, 6 months apart from each other. And John Frusciante gets back in the band. They kick old little Klinghoffer out, and they're like, shuck it. And Johnny Boy comes back in. He's like, I'm going to write good songs again because I'm not on drugs anymore, so I would like to write music. And, dude, there's some... I'm really happy with this album and how it came out. I actually... dude, should I put it here? I might put it here because I think the audio quality on here is great. It's mixed super well. There's some awesome songs. Aquatic Mouth Dance is, an amazing bass line, and I think it's a really good example of John not overplaying and playing exactly what the song needs and allowing Flea to really shine. And I think this album, that's exactly what John does. A lot of people were probably expecting him to really just come out and like, solo, I'm so awesome. But he doesn't. He's like, no, dude, I've been listening to like blues songs from the 40s to the 50s, and like, I just like that kind of music now. And I like the old Red Hot Chili Peppers albums. Let's just jam with these songs, That was like the good old days, not. But you really can tell that he takes a back seat. Not a back seat, but he just lets Flea and Chad shine, and he does everything he can to complement them and just help develop the songwriting. So songs like Black Summer, yeah, he definitely shines in, and that's a very guitar-centric song. But a lot of the other songs, he's just kind of focusing on what the band needs. What You Thinkin' is my favorite song that they've written since the Stadium Arcadium era. Absolutely, I love that song. The chords and the chorus hit really hard, very impactful. White Braids and Pillow Chair is actually a really, dare I say, pretty song. The chord progression on that, dude, it's like an 8 chord progression or whatever. I don't know, but it's like constantly changing and revolving. Very cool song. Here Ever After, back to the classic, you know, Throw Away Your Television, By the Way, Tom Groove. I'm actually going to put this in S tier. I love this album. I listen to it a ton, and it's like a lot of the songs grow on me, like Poster Child, and even, oh my gosh, what is it? One Way Traffic is actually like a goofy song when you first listen to it. But dude, that song is a vibe, man. I love it. Yeah. So anyway, definitely up here. This album I put in A tier, even though this came out super close to each other. I find this album a little bit harder to get into. It's a little more of an eccentric album, which John Frusciante even talks about in an interview with Rick Rubin, where it's like, this album, we kind of put all the songs that are a little more eccentric and a little more unique here. And I don't think it's bad. There's definitely songs like Peace and Love, The Drummer, Bella, Eddie, even Shoot Me a Smile are really good songs that I love listening to. But then you got songs like Bag of Grins, La 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 La, In the Snow, Reach Out. They're just kind of a little quirky, and you're like, I'm not sure if I fully understand this. I can respect it, but I don't know, man. I'm trying to get into it, but I don't know if I can. I'm sorry. It's just, it is a good album. I just feel like it needs more time to marinate and sink into the souls of the Pepper fan base. But it might be an album that, you know, with time will be up here. I just can't put too many in S tier, otherwise I'm going to be criticized for being a fanboy, which I am, but whatever. But yeah, I'm really glad they came out with this album. So yeah, that is my consensus on the RHCP catalog, their discography, and I love this band. You know, had a rush. Luckily, their rough patch was early on, and not in the middle of their career. I mean, kind of was when John left, but they still cranked out some bangers. And dude, I don't care what people say. I think Anthony is a good lyric writer. You don't have to understand what someone's saying to relate to them. I think he's very good melodically. He's a good rhythmic singer. He knows how to write some catchy vocal hooks for sure. And obviously the rest of the band members are musically gifted, for lack of a better term. But yeah, this is definitely my take. Hope you liked it. Smash that like button and subscribe for more content like this and more content maybe not so like this. I don't know. I do plan on doing more of this. So thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Goodbye, over and out.